welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back again. If you're watching the video, you saw me, and I don't have to mention this, but I'm going to. Because it is technically a holiday day. It's Friday. I should have recorded this yesterday, but I was busy working. But anyway, you saw me just dive deep into my phone for a real quick email, setting up an interview that was... It's something I reached out about, in fairness. But why does my laptop stand so far away? I reached out about this. I've been spending weeks trying to set this one up. There's another one I reached out about. That person went on tour just went on tour. So then they never got back to me. Anyway, this person I saw has a new special coming out, and I reached out. Their people were like, he's busy. I'll just say I don't give a shit. He's busy. And then that was weeks ago. This week, it was, I get an email. Oh, some time opened up. I went, great. Let's do this. Just responded back almost immediately. And then you might hear tennis on in the background. And quite frankly, I do have ESPN, the score sheet open. I'm watching Claire Liu and Coco Gauff. They are in the third set. Yeah, third set. Claire's putting up a fight. I love it. So, and then my queen, Sabalenka, won. Oh, my queen. So then, I go, great, let's do it. They send me back a time. They send me back the thinnest time. And I go, that's great. I can do it. Let's do it for next week. So I get that email about they sent me back a time last night at like 7 or 8 p.m. And I go, and you want to do it directly after the holiday. I don't know if we're going to be able to, if you're going to answer me tomorrow. So I responded to the email now. Come to find out, we're in different time zones. Hey, we meant Pacific. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, at least you responded to me. That's good. So it'll be happening. And then I have to do research. It's great. I just finished up another interview. I did it. Today's Friday? Oh, my God. Oh, I did it 2 days ago. I finished up another interview with somebody who was in Aussie land. That one was hectic to set up. But we got through it. I did it at night here, morning there. And I'll say this. We had a lot of trouble because we had a lot of interruptions on both ends. But it ended up being a long and good conversation. I'll tell you about trouble on both ends. A plumber came for that person. And they needed to get some work done. And then on my end, I don't pay for Zoom because C Plus Comedy does not make money. I don't pay for Zoom. And once we hit that 40-minute limit, Zoom cuts out. And boy, did it cut out. If you watch the video of the interview, you can see me sit up at like 5 minutes with 5 minutes left. And then I'm trying to get to an ending. It ended. They popped back on, and we're like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." Zoom is converting the video on my computer, and I go, "Oh shit!" I just have to say goodbye to this person really quick. So I pull my phone out. I don't run to go get the iPad because I don't know how quickly they're going to hop on here, and Zoom is taking forever to convert. So I get my phone and I put it in landscape, and we proceed to have another less than 30 minute conversation. So that was and like I'm holding my phone up the entire time. I'm like shit, and I'm holding it up here so I can have continuity with the where the webcam is. So if you listen to that interview next week, please note that the last half, which I immediately recorded the intro after, and I'm thinking about just re-recording that intro, but the last half sounds like shit because I don't have the microphone, and it looks like shit. Well, it doesn't look like shit actually because I got a S25 Ultra. It's the best video of 2 years ago. Oh my goodness. All right. What else is going on? Like I said, it's July 3rd. I'm not working today, which means I don't get paid. Boy, at work all week long. The office is closed. The office is closed on Friday. No one log in. I'm afraid to even open my laptop. Yeah, so that's what's happening. I went to the gym as I often do. I went to the gym on normal time. There's nobody there. Oh my God, I love it. There's nobody there. That's how you know there's like a lot of transplants. A lot of people who aren't from Atlanta, don't live in Atlanta, because Christmas and Thanksgiving, like they're just, and even the Georgia area, it's just like, people are gone. All these holidays, just people are gone. Anyway, it was great. The gym was essentially empty. And I was able to I already planned my workout, so I figured I was going to be able to do some stuff that I typically would not be able to do, which is good. This is we're in the middle of a heat dome, a heat wave. We're in the heat dome here in Atlanta. That if you don't know, Jesus Christ, hit the microphone. If you know what the heat dome is, I am trying to pad out this episode. I only have 2 stories, but if you don't know what the heat dome is, we're almost at the 10-minute mark. The heat dome for July 2026 is it's a giant a dome of heat that is covering up a lot of the East Coast and the mid just like half the United States or a quarter of the United States. So Atlanta all the way up to New York and Chicago and some other areas, and it's been, people don't believe in global warming. So it's been hotter than usual, but people were like, it's just hot. No, it's global warming. This is what happens. Been sweating our butts off. For Maverick, I've had to move our runs and our walks from the late afternoon up into the morning. So that means my already 3 hours of working out turns into like 4 hours. And we don't have to run, but it's something for the two of us to do. It gets him moving, and it's different from a walk. And it's a lot quicker than than a walk. And it's just been bad. And then, if you don't know, obviously, I have a treadmill to go along with the bike and the rower, and the treadmill's in a storage unit. And that storage unit has no windows, and there's no plugs. So I'm already running an extension cord from the apartment to the treadmill. It's been like that for years. And so you shouldn't be doing that. I only use it for 40 minutes at a time. Once you get to the over Thanksgiving and over Christmas, I use the treadmill, on days like longer than the 40 minutes, and that plug does get hot. I'll tell you that. But it has, like overnight, it's been like 80 something degrees. So then when I walk into that storage unit that's on the other side of this wall, and here it's nice and chilly. It's in the 60s, and we're cool in here. And then I leave here and I go in there. It's 4:00 in the morning, and I'm automatically sweating. So I'm walking on the treadmill, and then Wednesday I did intervals, and I'm just running in there, and I'm just like drenched. Oh my gosh. This morning it wasn't bad. I did a 30-minute walk and a 10-minute run because on Fridays I just want to take it a little bit easier when it comes to cardio, because I do cardio like 6 days a week. Not like 6 days a week, exactly 6 days a week. I think I do cardio every day I work out. Oh my gosh. And then conversely, in here when I'm rowing and when I'm cycling, I'm just I'm like a little. It's different. I'm not sweating as much. Although last week I did a 2 hour ride with Matt Wilpers on Peloton. It was live, and I think I was sweating by minute 10. I like his 2 hour rides. Don't get me started on Peloton. We know I have a lot of thoughts on Peloton. If they make me a consultant, I swear to God, I could turn that company around. And it would start with getting better teachers. So here, I'll glaze over this. It costs a lot of money to buy a treadmill and a rower and a bike, and I feel like I should have the same say as other people on that platform who use that platform rather, who I think are the majority voices. Looks like Coco's about to win. Who are the majority voices? Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like it's a democracy over there. It feels like Peloton has made this lane under this mental health thing, and I think it is affecting how many people are retained within the within using the platform. Anyway, that's it. And my thing is, if I'm doing a 90s run or an 80s row or a pop punk cycling class, I'm there for the music. I'm not there to be preached to. I'm not there to be talked down to. And I think there's a lot of that at Peloton. I'm trying to be as measured as possible. And you know what? God love them. There's 50 some odd instructors there. I'm going to say instructors because a lot of them have not worked in training before they got to Peloton. And I would be a better trainer. Anyway. What was I? God love them. There's 50 some odd instructors there. And a lot of them do great jobs. Matt Wilpers, Christian Vandeveld, DT, who I'm in love with, DT Shaw, Dennis Morton, Susie Chan, and those are my favorites. Then there's a lot of people who are not good. Some people have been there for a very long time. Some people have been there for a couple of years. I think the problem is when you steer the ship into one lane, assuming that people are one type of person, then you really pigeonhole yourself into this area that doesn't make sense for working out. And I'll just end it on this so I can get to the goddamn stories. There are people that, yes, I avoid taking, but because I have purchased 3 different machines, which I didn't have to, but I wanted to. But because I purchased 3 different machines, and because I pay for this subscription, and because they have levels of users, it's called Club Peloton, and they have like super users, which I fall under, and then they have different levels, but I'm in the super user category. It's difficult to come into working out. It's difficult working out in the first place, but it's difficult to come into working out and thinking in only one direction. Like you can only do one thing. Like for instance, there's one type of curl, there's one type of squat, there's one type of weight or run. When in fact, there's so many different curls you can do. There's so many different types of squats. There's so many different ways to train cardio for running, period. Just so many different ways to train for running. And Peloton really sticks themselves into one corner, one category for each thing. And it's just so frustrating. And I took a row from somebody that this person was already on the bottom end of who I take for rows. But again, because this thing costs so much money per month and I spent, collectively a lot of money, 4 digits on these 3 different things. And yes, I got them at discounts and they're used, blah, blah, blah. Coco won. I like to spread my who I take, because I can't just take all Aditi yoga classes. That just wouldn't make sense. First of all, I would burn out on her. Second, she isn't. They already don't teach that many classes. Same thing for Matt. Same thing, Matt Wilper. Same thing for Christian Vanderbilt, who's a guest instructor in the first place. Also, he's instructing like 2 classes a month, and he's still doing better than most people, than a majority of the instructors. Anyway, I took a row from somebody who, again, I do not take often because she's already on the bottom end of my take list overall. But she gave, it was a pop punk row. So already I'm like, I just want to hear pop punk music. I want to hear Dirty Little Secret. I want to hear Crush, Crush, Crush. Why is that the first one I came up with? That's what you get, is what I should have said for Paramore. I want to hear songs like that. I want to hear Blink 182. I want to hear Blunk 182, which is the cover band. Blunk 364. Or Blunk 91. But I took a pop punk row, and in the middle, she gave out the suicide hotline number. And it was so, I was so irate. Like, she's already somebody who's talking during the class and going, you're special. It doesn't matter how you're a mom and you're good at what you do. Like, I'm taking a rowing class. And meanwhile, there's people in the back who aren't rowing properly. We need to teach. I said I'll end it on this. It's been nearly 20 minutes. She gave out the suicide hotline number, and then I went, that's it. We're done. No more taking this person. I gave it a thumbs down class, and she's now on my shit list. Along with Robin Arzon. You're welcome. And Selena Simwella. And a lot of other people whose names I cannot care to remember. All right. Let's move on with this first story. Let me close my email. I don't know why that was still up. Oh, because I had to get to the C Plus Comedy email. Let's talk about this. This is probably the biggest story in gaming all week, and I don't know why I linked it to the BBC. PlayStation will stop releasing games on discs in 2028. It's written by Tom Gherkin and Laura Kress. Excuse me. The reason why sometimes I'll link to websites that aren't typically in the genre of whatever the main story is reporting. Like if it's a story about a movie and it's to the New York Times, it's just because I saw it there first. And thanks to my RSS feed that I set up for myself, I saw that the news was broken to me by BBC. I was like, what? It is true. Sony announced in a blog post, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, that they will not be doing physical discs. This comes after Rockstar Games said last week that they will not be doing a physical disc for GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6, immediately at launch. It'll be coming sometime next year. That's the rumor. There's a fruit fly over here, and it was bothering me during my conversation on Wednesday with that Australian comedian. He's not Australian, but he is in Australia. This is gaming in the last couple of years has gone from mildly frustrating to increasingly hostile towards the gamer. More recently, hold on, let me see, because Sony. Oh God. Here we go. There we go. These are the exact words I'm looking for. More recently, Sony has been because they're the leader in the gaming space. I feel like they're getting more daring when it comes to doing things, and they're only getting away with this. People are mad, but I do feel as though if Microsoft did this, this would be akin to January. Like there would be a January 6th for gamers, which they did announce something like this years ago. Like a license program for the Xbox One, I believe, where you buy the game, and as long as you own the disc, you put the disc in your Xbox. This is how gaming works now. You put the disc in your PlayStation or your Xbox, and instead of having the data on the disc, it downloads it from the internet, and essentially the disc is like a key that says, "Hey, I have Persona 3 Reload, and let me unlock the stuff that's on the PlayStation so that I can play it." Years ago, when Xbox One was announced, that's how Microsoft was going to do it. Except you could buy the disc, put the disc in your Xbox, it downloads it, and then I think every so often it would say like, "Hey, where's that disc?" But you could still access it digitally as long as you didn't sell it or give it to somebody else, which is more or less a good idea. It's a better idea than what this is, but this is a drastic change in a moment where game ownership and just ownership of things digital in general is changing. Last week, Sony announced it was going to be deleting movies that people purchased on the PlayStation Store. My question is, why would you purchase movies on the PlayStation Store? Same thing for Xbox Store. Don't if you're never around your Xbox or your PlayStation, you'd never be able to watch those things. But people look at me and they say, "Oh, you own these movies on Vudu and on Apple TV and on Movies Anywhere." At any point, these studios could say, Paramount could go to say, "Hey, we want to remove all the Warner Brothers movies." Produced movies from Movies Anywhere. We want to move them from Vudu, and we want people to only purchase on Apple TV. And that would be insane, but they could do it because you only own the license to the thing. That again is saying, "Hey, he's got the license to Silverado. Let him watch Silverado." I like to make playlists of or watch lists of movies and TV shows on Vudu, and I just made a Western watch list. I don't have a lot of Western movies. But when I was working at Bounce TV, I had to watch a lot of Western, so I became a Western fan. And I do have a list of Western movies that I like. When I was working there, I created that list, and then over time, it grew rapidly. There's a lot of John Wayne movies on there. I also saw a lot of like the first Westerns, and they were like animals died. Horses died. There's one very specific one from like 1951, I think, with John Wayne where he was riding a horse over a cliff and they showed him and the horse. They didn't have CGI back then. They showed him and the horse jumping and then falling. And the horse is like... So this is big. When Nintendo announced their new strategy when it comes to their game cards, I believe they're called key cards or game cards. Nintendo has this new thing where, and I still do not understand key cards. Let me see. Hold on. Instagram. Nintendo key card. Okay. Okay, so here's the Nintendo support website. Please load up. They explain key cards, and I've watched this video twice, and I still don't understand it. Essentially what it is game cards and game key cards. Some games have game key cards, and other games have game cards. I believe the Switch 2 only does game key cards. So game key cards, which are the newer versions of the regular game cards, game key cards don't have the full game data, just like what Xbox and PlayStation games now are. Instead, the key card is saying, "Hey, this person bought Pokemon Pokopia," and they like on the physical. So we're the key. Let us download it, and then it downloads it, and then you can play the game by inserting the key card into the system and starting it up like a physical game card. It's the same. They think it's the same thing, but it's not. Because again, you don't really own it. So Sony has been pushing buttons as of late. They're no longer releasing even older first party games on. Is it raining? Oh, it is. Oh wow, it's raining pretty hard too. They're no longer raining. They're no longer releasing older first party games on other platforms, including PC. So that means the last Spider-Man game, was it Spider-Man 2? Is that on, hold on, is Spider-Man 2 on Steam? Spider-Man 2 Steam. Spider-Man 2 is the last one, I believe. But Last of Us Part 2 is on there as well, but they're no longer doing that. You won't get Laufey, the new God of War. You won't get whatever other... I can't think of any other first-party games. I have this theory. If Microsoft did this, then people would have burned down Seattle. Sony also earlier this year was secretly testing dynamic pricing. This is something that, again, nobody seemed to have been like my email almost popped up. Here's a thing. Websites, I'm never going to sign in with my Google account. Jesus Christ. This comes from Samarveer Singh over at XDA Developers. Sony's dynamic pricing on the PlayStation Store is outraging gamers, and rightly so. This just happened because people saw this experiment in a bunch of regions across the world. Sony was running an A/B pricing scheme when it came to PS prices is the one that The Verge is the one that. Okay. Anyway, that was testing out what Sony was calling, quote, elastic pricing in both directions. It was based on what they discovered to be unusual offer structures for 139 different games in the PlayStation API across several regions, including Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and others. The United States was not included in it. But what happened was, in Europe, it'd be like, let's say Astrobot, the new Astrobot game that came out 2 years ago, which is still $60, but the new Astrobot came out and it costs $60. Let's say sometimes it's on sale for $40, but that's only in Europe. Maybe in China, it'll be on sale for $50. Maybe in Japan, it'll be $65. Just dynamic pricing, and it's crazy. It's not good. On top of that, Sony also, today's the 3rd. Today announced that, this comes from Engadget, written by Mariella Moon. Sony already invested $34 million to repurpose its EU PlayStation disc factory. That is the one place I believe that they made their discs. This report by by ORF Salzburg via Engadget said that the management at Sony's Digital Audio Disc Corporation told ORF that the company has already invested 30 million quid, $34 million, into converting its disc factory in Tangaloo, Salzburg, into a plant for optical microlenses. Those changes have apparently been in the works for quite some time, though management only told Talgao workers about them on July 1st, when Sony announced that PlayStation is going all in on digital starting in January 2028. Optical microlenses can manipulate light and are typically used in camera sensors, AR, VR headsets, fiber optic networks, and medical devices. That plant is important because roughly 600,000 discs every day are manufactured there, and half of that is PlayStation games. So if you have a PlayStation 5, more than likely you have a disc from that factory. All those people are still employed, thankfully. That's 300 employees, and they're just going to be doing other jobs within that plant. Sony's taking a real heel turn, and it's not an interesting heel turn. Physical games are very important. This is immediately hostile towards people who don't have as good of internet, people who aren't in places that has internet readily available, because now gaming is more reliant on accessing some type of network, which is not how people grew up playing games. If you are a gamer from before the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I say that because the 360 PS3 era, while it did introduce more robust online features, while also charging people, and at least in Xbox's case, to pay for Xbox Live for multiplayer, at least, to the very least, you owned the game. You could go and get Grand Theft Auto 4, for instance, and put it in your thing, and it works. This is just going to create, I read somewhere that GameStop's bottom line now doesn't come from video games. It's now people are buying a lot of collectibles. But even still, the secondary game market is just going to dry up and become non-existent in the next generation. And even thinking about the next generation itself, which we don't need to, let's pretend Sony announces a new PlayStation for 2028, which is, again, when they stop producing physical games. They announce a new PlayStation for 2028, and it doesn't have a disc drive. And they said, and let's pretend they say, like, we're not planning on one in the immediate future. It's still going to be over $1,000. The new Steam machine costs over $1,000. Building a new PC with new parts costs over $1,000. Buying a laptop is over $1,000. Buying a Steam Deck is like $700, $800 at this point. iPads went up in price. It's, everything's becoming everything is becoming anti-consumer, but the problem is people are still going to buy these things. The Steam machine is still having people being waitlisted. It feels as though we are at a point in time when it's tough to be a gamer. And yes, there are sales all the time. I go to websites like Deku Deals to track Nintendo and PlayStation and Xbox sales. I go to Is There Any Deal to track PC sales, PC game sales. But the fact of the matter is, there's going to be a lot less available. Let me finish that thought. There's a lot less available. Sales will become not less frequent, but they will be less sustainable for the buyer. Because if you look at recent sales on the PlayStation Store, games that once went on sale for $10 are now going on sale just for $15. And that $5 does make a difference. Same thing for if you are somebody like me who buys a lot of movies and TV shows, you're often seeing what movies used to be $5 are now going on sale for just $10. And you may ask, oh, why don't you subscribe to this subscription thing? I do. But also, I want to be able to watch Hercules without seeing a commercial break. Because quite frankly, I'm not paying for a commercial-free Disney Plus or HBO Max or the rest of them. It feels like things are going in the wrong. No, things are going in the wrong direction, and I don't know. I still own a lot of physical copies of things. Now, Microsoft announced that they were doing a disk key system. Hold on, let me triple check that. Let's see, not product key. Oh, I don't want to go to Polygon. I hate Polygon. Let's see. Digitizing. Microsoft announced that they were testing a disk to digital feature that digitizes a physical game collection as well. Here, I'll go to Tom's Hardware. This is written by, oh, good Lord, these pop-ups. Andrew E. Friedman. Xbox reportedly testing a way to digitize physical games in the wake of PlayStation killing game discs. Feature said to go back to Xbox One era games. So what they want, Jesus Christ, what the idea here, this fucking pop-ups, it is ridiculous. And I have ad blocks on. What the feature is again, as I mentioned, disc to digital. You put the disc inside your Xbox, and then it downloads it, and it's basically acting as a key card. We don't know whether or not Microsoft's already announced Project Helix, which is the code name for the next generation Xbox, will come with a disk drive. I think, and a lot of other gamers would probably agree with this. If they want to be successful, if they want to quote unquote win the generation, which also I think pitting these three consoles, because again, people forget about Nintendo all the time, but pitting these three consoles against each other as if there's more competition is not good. Imagine if Microsoft bowed out of video games a couple of years ago, and we were stuck with Sony and Nintendo. And then people don't really take Nintendo as a competitor, and you're just stuck with Sony. Imagine a PlayStation 5 doing this now. People would be up in arms, but then they'd be like, well, we didn't like using Microsoft Xbox, so blah, blah. You have to stop pitting these things against each other. And stop pitting, don't pit Taylor Swift against Selena Gomez. It's all the same shit. I just want to play video games. I just want to listen to music. I don't care if she's getting married. Why is that in the news? Why is that on CNN? Jesus Christ. Let this woman get married. You know why she's not public about it? Because she doesn't want to hear you talking about it. No, she probably doesn't. I don't give a shit. Anyway. It's, I don't know where I was before. I really did lose the thread there. This is a bad idea. But anyway, that's what I was talking about. If Microsoft wants to get ahead of PlayStation in this, then what they should do is have a disk drive. Because plenty of people still love physical things. Imagine GameFly. GameFly you rent or you buy games from them. They mail it to you. Or going to buy, a game like, I'm trying to think of a game where you can beat really quickly. Like a Call of Duty. You go buy a Call of Duty, you buy it physically, you put it in your system, you play it. I just beat Modern Warfare, the remake. I just beat Modern Warfare remake. It took me a week. I did 2 hours a day, I think. I did like an hour or two a day. And then I was able to delete it from my Xbox. But if I had that physically, I could go back. I could go to Facebook Marketplace. I could go to GameStop. I go to eBay. I could say, hey, $20, you buy it. Well, I can't go to GameStop and say, hey, $20, you buy it. But whatever. This is anti-consumer. And I don't like it at all. But my hope is that Sony hears enough backlash, which they will, but they will not pay attention to it. They hear enough backlash and they go, PlayStation 6 is coming out with a disc drive if you want it. They did that with the latest iteration of the PlayStation Slim. I think PS5 Pro, obviously the PS5 Pro better have a disc drive, but the PlayStation Slim has an optional disc drive. So you can buy the disc drive after the fact, but if you just want a digital thing, that's perfect. Yesterday, while I was working, my computer was slowing down. Not the Mac Mini, not my work MacBook Pro. The computer was slowing down. The internet was slowing down. The iPad's internet has been a little bit slow. Also, as an older iPad, whatever. And then my phone sometimes takes a long time to connect to the internet. And I went to Google Fiber's website because I have Google Fiber. And now I see that they offer, instead of 2 different plans, they have 3 different plans. And it's still the lowest plan, which I pay for, is 1 gigabyte, and it's $70. And sometimes it feels like they throttle it. And it feels like they're going, go get the 3 gigabyte plan because everything takes internet. Your TV's using it, your Xbox, your PlayStation, your laptop, your iPad, your phone, your Switch, your Steam Deck. They're all using it. Your printer, these speakers, they're using it. So why don't you download? Why don't you get more gigabytes? But when does it end? In the same way that this morning I was lamenting There's so many sport, and I was lamenting just to the pets. There's so many ways to watch sports, and I talk about this all the time. And it's just frustrating because I kind of wanted to watch the British F1 Grand Prix thing on Apple TV, but then tennis was on, and then soccer is on, and then golf is on right now, and you have to have. If you want to watch all of Wimbledon, you have to have ESPN Unlimited. Otherwise, you can just watch it on YouTube TV or Fubo or whatever, or Hulu Live TV, and you can just get what they show you on those platforms. And the same, well, I think Hulu is part of ESPN Unlimited. And then same thing with F1 racing. You can only get it on Apple TV now. It's not bad though on Apple TV. And then soccer, there's all the games are on TV, but then all the matches are on TV, but then if this, that, whatever. It's just so frustrating. Everything's becoming anti-consumer, and it's just what's the network quote? I'm sick of it. That's not the network quote. Network quote. You know which one I'm talking about. You know which one I'm talking about. There's a website called Network Quotes. That's probably about whatever. I'm not having it anymore. That's a movie I own. Coincidentally, yesterday, last day, I was talking. Jesus Christ! I was looking at Criterion movies on disc. There's a sale, and I have a different version of Network, and I want to buy the Criterion disc. That's it. All right. Oh, it's been 40 minutes. I meant to come here and do yoga, and to do this and then do yoga and then to watch Hamilton, because I'm going to watch Hamilton today, and then I'm going to watch Independence Day tomorrow. Okay, this is the final story. It comes from George Slazai and Alex Weprin over at The Hollywood Reporter. Comcast is split into two companies via spinoff of NBC Universal, including Sky. This was a surprise that came seemingly out of nowhere. There's going to be a company that has already split itself is going to continue splitting even more. Comcast is going to separate into two independent, publicly traded companies through a tax-free spinoff of NBC Universal and Sky. Sky is the British cable platform. Mike Cavanaugh is going to be the CEO of the NBCU and Sky part. We don't know how this is going to affect Versant up front, but I'm sure it's going to affect Versant. Versant is, again, the spinoff of NBC Universal that includes all the stuff that is losing money, the cable stuff, more or less. NBC Universal, like Disney, is anchored by the theme parks division, the Universal Film and Television Studios, the NBC and Telemundo networks, Peacock, and Bravo. In addition, NBC Universal's portfolio will include Sky, the European media business. The conglomerate previously separated Versant Media, the home of most of its cable network, in another move to create more focused business. This is going to be a lot like what happened with Versant. So again, remember, NBC Universal / Comcast. Comcast, NBC Universal. Broke off Versant because all that stuff was dragging down the business. But it's still technically a part of the family. Now, NBC Universal and Sky are going to do their own thing, and then we're going to have another third entity up there. So it's going to be three different things. Similar to the Versant spin, the split of Comcast is likely a precursor for more deal-making. A standalone connectivity company may be better positioned to do deals, either as a buyer or seller, with other telecom companies, right as the cable business is under pressure from fixed wireless and now satellite internet firms like Starlink. That essentially means we could sell the company, a part of this, whatever this new company is, or one of the new companies, to the highest bidder. Be that, a Netflix wanting to buy Versant stuff, which they will not do, or Maybe, let's see. I can't think of anybody else. Apple wants to buy NBC Universal. A standalone NBC Universal could pursue deals with other media companies as a buyer or seller to scale up and compete. That's what Warner Bros. Discovery did when it was sparked a bidding war from Netflix and NBC and Paramount, Skydance. When it was like, hey, we're going to spin off everything else and you can buy Warner Bros., which will be the film studios, the TV studios, and streaming. Meanwhile, the video games and the cable networks will be on over there. Did I say TV studios? Excuse me, I just meant film studios. But ultimately, Paramount Skydance purchased the entire company. And it looks like that's not going to get much of a fight in the EU either. Comcast said it will retain 19.9% of a stake in NBC Universal, with plans to monetize it after the split in order to help it deleverage. That suggests that the company believes there will be interest in NBCU. Who would buy NBCU? I think if anybody would purchase it, Netflix is not going to be doing this bidding thing again. I think they tried and they said, we are the leader in terms of entertainment right now. We don't need this shit. If anybody were to purchase NBC Universal with Sky, which is their European model, European thing, they would be, it would have to be someone like Apple. But I don't think Apple is in the business of merging with another company. Even though last week I did talk about how Bob Iger said that Disney and Apple had the idea of merging together. I don't think Apple is interested in that. And the only reason I say Apple would be interested is because of the Apple TV Peacock bundle. They're the only ones who bundled together. Apple wouldn't bundle with anybody else. Peacock has never been asked to bundle with anybody else. You can get Peacock on, I believe, on YouTube now. You can get Peacock on YouTube and get on Prime Video. But the difference is the bundling thing. Something's happening at Wimbledon. This is only happening because of the administration we have. The one we're living in. The one who's going to give a 45-minute speech before fireworks on July 4th, I believe at the White House, at 11 p.m. So that means, and I heard this on NPR, that means that, I think it was NPR or the New York Times, whatever, but that means that he's going to be speaking as fireworks in surrounding neighborhoods and areas will be going off. Oh my gosh. But this is only happening because they're allowing it to. He made $2 billion. He made $2 billion. $2 billion. Obama wore a tan suit. And this guy, this current president, made $2 billion in the White House while he's serving as president. Can you imagine if Kamala Harris was voted president and she made $1 million? If she made over the $400,000 that presidents are supposed to make? There'd be a mutiny. There'd be January 6th Part 2. Oh my God. I want to be optimistic and say that gaming is going to get better and movies and television are going to get better and more fair, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm done. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. I just put out an interview with Skylar Higley. Skylar Higley, he's a writer for Conan. Oh, excuse me. He was a writer for Conan. He does write for Conan when Conan hosts the Oscars, so he's done it these last two times. He also wrote for After Midnight And he does stand up and is a generally funny and just well-meaning guy. I think he's a great guy. So go check out that video. If you want to listen to it, it's already released on this RSS feed. If you want to see a video version of that interview and any other interviews, go to youtube.com/peoplescomedy. We're going to see a video version of this podcast as well as the other podcasts. Late Night Lately. It's got a monologue now. It's on break. And LinkedIn, Late Night Lately, Lately Night Show. And LinkedIn Logs, the jobs and business news podcast. Subscribe to the shows wherever your podcasts. Follow us on social media at Comedy on Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Be safe. Bye.